On this computer. Okay. All right, you guys. Welcome to our second Team Dream Chat. I am Brianna Engel. I am Superstar Director of Scented Dreamers, and I am so grateful that you all are here tonight and that you are joining us for what I hope is going to be a really informative night. Look at you guys, real life going on back here. Like, this is such a mess. Y'all would have thought that I would have cleaned this up, but nope. Want y'all to know I do not have it together. And so with that, I did want to bring you guys some fun tips for a successful business. These are some things that I thought would be helpful in moving forward in your guys' journey, whatever that looks like. I definitely, I've said this before and I'll continue to say it. I do not believe for 1 minute that I have all the answers and that what I do is the end all be all for success. But obviously there are some things that I feel like are that could be helpful and things that I have done. And so with that, I wanted to share that with you. And I have 10 of them here. And so these are just simply just tips that I utilize in my business that I feel like have helped me grow a team, grow personally, grow with my customers, and just all around succeed, not just in Scentsy, but in life. And so I feel like that if you apply these and you really commit to taking this and running with it, that there could be a lot of really amazing things in store. So I'm gonna start at number 10 because I like a countdown instead of like starting with number 1. So we're gonna start with number 10. And I'm gonna try to move through these without describing it all the way through and beating a dead horse, but y'all know what I like to do and I like to talk. So excuse me, but I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet and to my bullet points. So number 10 is a really, really important goal, which is why it made, or a really important tip, which is why it made my top 10s. It probably deserves to be higher up in this ranking, but I think that a lot of people probably know that they should do this, and that's determine what your end goal is. Okay, so when we're talking about a Scentsy business, anything in your life, anything that you've got going on, whatever you're looking to achieve, right? We always want to think about what is our end goal? What is the purpose of this? What is the vision that we have? And we talk about, seeing the vision with Scentsy and recognizing that not everybody has that desire to go all the way to the top with Scentsy, and that is 100% okay. But what is your end goal with Scentsy? What is the destination to which you can sit back and say, okay, I have arrived. And that's not to say that you can't then come up with more goals afterwards. But the reason that you joined or what keeps you going, you need to know what that looks like. Okay. And it needs to be like detailed, right? When we like have these big dreams, I can tell you exactly what I want my Highland cow to look like. I can tell you exactly what I want to name it. I can tell you exactly the kind of house I want. All of these things are crystal clear in my mind, and that is my end goal. And I know Scentsy is the path that's going to get me there, and I can detail that to you. And so it is important that we recognize what that goal is, and in that will determine our why. And it helps us to refine and redefine our purpose in this business, because your end goal can change, and there's nothing wrong with that. So don't be ashamed of that. Don't be scared to admit that there's nothing wrong with it. But always know what that end goal looks like, and know that your why and purpose is attached to it. And that's why we have to be so transparent in sharing our why and purpose. And just very simply, your end goal is what you're working towards. And so let that be the fire that gets you up on those days where you don't feel like getting out of bed, or you've had a hard day, you're in the middle of a conversation with a customer or a teammate that you don't want to have. Always keep in mind what your end goal is, okay? And that leads me into my next thing, right? As I'm kind of describing having hard conversations with people. Number 9, I'm going to tell you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? So Scentsy calls us into a lot of situations where, if we're honest, we're not totally comfortable with all these things that Scentsy asks us to do if we're talking about long-term thriving success. It's not normal to like be posting about these lights in our house, right? That like smell good, you know, like we're posting all these warmers and beautiful things, but like it's not normal. Like I don't have a friend that posts pictures of their lamps every day. Like I don't have friends that post pictures of like their bleach every day, you know? So like that's not necessarily normal. And so we have to get comfortable with even just the smallest step in this journey, which is getting comfortable with sharing Scentsy at its core. And that means taking pictures, talking about our laundry stuff, talking about our counter clean, talking about our Scentsy buddies. Like that can be really uncomfortable for a lot of us. And so recognizing that those baby steps in the beginning, whether it feels super uncomfortable to you or it doesn't, there's going to be somewhere along the line where you're going to be like, oh, okay, like I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure I can have this conversation about joining with my host, or if I can ask this person to book a party. And that's the moment where you're going to have to decide, I'm going to step into this and it's going to feel uncomfortable for a little while. And then the more that I do it, the more comfortable I'm going to feel. And that is the secret to that. Okay. Let me just burst some bubbles here. And like, if you didn't want to hear that, spoiler alert, but like, that is the secret to getting comfortable, is to do it so much that uncomfortable starts to be comfortable. And then you're going to find something else to be uncomfortable about, right? Because none of us walked into this business feeling comfortable in all these situations. Like even me, who's like super outgoing and I'm okay taking pictures and like talking about this stuff and I love it and I'm okay sharing it. It was uncomfortable to have joint conversations because that wasn't part of my vision in the beginning. And so, you just have to understand that like at the base of this business, there are going to be a lot of things that are going to make you feel super weird inside. And the more that you do it and the more that you tell that voice to like sit down, be quiet, and that you're going to step into it anyways, the easier it's going to. And that goes for what everybody around you may be thinking, right? And that holds a lot of weight when we talk about like, why does this make me uncomfortable? A lot of the time we can gear that back to, well, I'm scared of what people might think. I'm scared of what this person is going to say. And y'all are just going to have to be okay with recognizing that, first of all, what people think is not paying your bills. What people are thinking is not getting you any closer to your destination. Okay. Dr. Phil, I love Dr. Phil. One of his things that he says all the time is, you wouldn't worry so much about what people thought about you if you knew how seldom they did. Okay. And that is the truth. Like nobody is awake at night thinking about, man, oh my gosh, I can't believe this Scentsy chick over here keeps posting about this dang warmer. Like nobody is laying awake at night, like taking your, like,
Are you gonna do like
doing all of these things to like, make you feel uncomfortable or thinking about you in this way or trying to have a negative impact on your business. Like it really is not that for people. And so you just have to put that away. Okay. And that's not going to happen overnight. And so that takes time. That takes knowing who you are. And that takes really grounding into your purpose, right? Because once you can recognize, hey, I believe and know and trust that Scentsy is the vessel that's going to get me to my destination, all of your opinions won't do that. All of your thoughts about who I am or what my life is supposed to look like won't do that. So I'm going to stick with what I know, and you can think what you want over there, and I'm going to keep moving forward. That's hard. Okay. And that takes being grounded in things, and it takes time. Okay. It's not an easy thing, but I want you guys to trust that if you are here and you are actively pursuing your purpose and your end goal, that it will get easier. Okay. And I just want to remind you, you're not going to feel natural at any of this. Some things may come easier, but if it doesn't feel like it's coming easy to you, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means that you're learning, and that means that you're growing. And the more that you do it, the more that you are just learning and growing and being able to then pass that on to the next person. And that's a super exciting thing to be able to carry on to people that you sponsor or even in your life. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay, number 8. This plays into it too. Look, I did so good with tying it all together, y'all. Go for the no. Okay, we talk about this a lot. But going for the no literally in every single situation will be the answer to a lot of the questions that you ask about, am I not doing enough? How do I approach this? Um, all of those questions about what's next in Scentsy is going to require you to ask questions of other people or to step into situations again that make you uncomfortable. And the reason that we fear that is because we fear being rejected. And your girl's right there with you. I'm a people person. I don't like being told no. I don't like feeling rejected. But that's just a hard fact of life. I have kept myself out of a lot of situations where I was going to be told no. Okay. I put myself into some situations, but I definitely have backed away from situations that could have been really impactful in my life because I was afraid they were going to say no. And I don't want that to be your story in Scentsy. I don't want that to be the reason that you look back 5 years from now because you're reinstating and telling yourself, man, I wish I would have just went for it the first time. I wish that I would have just asked that person to join. I wish that I would have just said yes to being uncomfortable and not been afraid of the no's that I would have gotten along the way and just did it. Okay, because let me be very honest with you. I have probably heard no in my Scentsy journey at least 200 times, you guys, like probably more than that. But like I have been told no so many times. And the first dozen times, it sucks. Okay. It really sucks. And I'm not saying it doesn't suck at all when people say no, but it sucks a lot less if you get okay with the idea that, first of all, no's don't mean no forever. Most of the time. And that no's can be empowering. Okay. If you train your mind and you train your body to have a response to no that says, hey, that's not a roadblock. That's like like in Mario Kart where you hit the little the thing that makes your car go faster. If you think of a no like that, where it's just going to propel you right onto the track and make you go faster and make you get closer to your goal, it's going to take some work to do that, but that's exactly what a no can do in your life and in your Scentsy journey. Why? Because it's going to motivate you to find your next yes. You are going to be so dang hungry for that next yes that no is going to send you into like a full dead-on sprint to get there. Okay? And so I'm not saying I look forward to no's in my journey quite yet. I hope to one day maybe be like, yeah, like I can't wait for my next no because I'm just going to be like, boom, right to the next yes. But I can tell you that I'm a lot more comfortable with hearing no because I recognize that all these no's have gotten me here. Like, I mean, it's not just them saying no, it's what I did after that. But like, if you train yourself to do something meaningful after every single no, you're going to be at your end goal just like I am. Like, just like you are dreaming about, you will get there. But your no's have to mean something. Don't let it be a personal thing. Don't let it feel like it's something against you because probably less than 0.01% is it ever personal. Maybe even less than that, you guys. People's no, think about the last time you said no to somebody. Was it personal? Was it personal to them? Probably not. Okay. And it's hard to train ourselves to not think that way. And I don't know why it's that way, but we just have to not fear the no. And just go after it. Go after that no. Step into those hard conversations and expect a no. Okay. The best way that you can prepare yourself is expect it. Get excited about a yes, but expect a no, and have a response for that no that you are comfortable with. Okay. So going for the no is number 8. Number 7, this is a good one. I like this one, and y'all, I'm still working on it. Okay. Find your groove. Okay. As I said that, I'm thinking of like music, which I love. Because y'all know when like, I don't know if y'all are like me, but like if you like to dance and like listen to music and stuff and you find your groove and like the first song hits and you're like, okay, that was a good one. And then like the second one's good. And then finally like the song comes on that you've been waiting for. And finally you're just like, nope, I'm in it. Like here I am. And you just start like going to town. And if you're not about the music life, then we'll just move past. But I love music, and that's how it is for me. And at some point you find your groove and you find what's working for you and you find what feels good. And that's good. And we want that and we should strive for that, but know that it's also ever changing because life is not steady. Finding your groove in your business is going to be a direct correlation to what your life is looking like too. We can't have calm in our business while the world around us is falling apart, right? It kind of has to be synchronized. And that doesn't mean that all is right in the world all the time. But that means that we have a balance, and that balance includes a routine and self-care. And it has to involve all of those things, or else we're struggling in some area. And your self-care, your personal life, your home life, what you got going on behind the scenes that Scentsy does not see, will directly affect your Scentsy business. And vice versa. If this is chaotic, if your Scentsy business is chaotic and you are treating it like the vessel that it should be to get you to where you want to be, or you're treating it like a full-time job, or you are committing yourself to it for a certain time, for a certain amount of time during the day, and it's crazy and you feel stressed out and you have this long to-do list that you can't ever get done, and there's no routine, there's no system here, but your life over here is like, yeah, I feel pretty good about this. This is going to affect that. Okay. These two things, again, I'm not saying that it's all going to be perfect and it's going to be great all the time, but they have to have a balance, and you have to find the groove of both of them, even when life gets crazy, even when your Scentsy business is overwhelming. Okay. And that's what I mean by finding your groove, finding that sweet spot, because week to week, it may look different. Okay. Your self-care that you do this week, maybe a cup of coffee, getting up before your kids get up, getting up before your husband gets up. Maybe it's your husband making dinner tonight. Maybe it's taking a walk, like whatever your self-care looks like, let that be your thing. But also recognize next week, it may be shopping with your best friend. It may be going out to dinner with your husband. Like your self-care is going to be changing, and your routine may look different from time to time. But establishing that that is necessary in your life to have that groove so that your things feel synchronized and that you have a balance going on. And I use the word balance very, very loosely, you guys, because I've said it before. I don't believe there's balance. I believe that there is a sacrifice that we get comfortable with. Okay, because our lives cannot be like this. I don't believe that our lives hang in the balance, and that it's always steady. I believe there's something always to be sacrificed, whether it's time, whether it's our Scentsy business a little bit, and that's okay. That's not a negative at all. But sometimes it's just going to be weighing a little bit heavier than the next, and we need to understand what is here that's making this lighter, or what's here that's making it heavier, and we need to know, is it working for us? And that's where your gut check and your self accountability have to come into play. You have to be willing to ask yourself, do I feel like I'm in a groove right now? Do I have a balance going on where I feel comfortable? It's okay if life feels stressful, but am I taking care of myself in the midst of it? My Scentsy business may be overwhelming, but am I taking good care of what's important? Am I focusing on my PRV? Is this taken care of? Hold yourself accountable to those things. Okay. Find your groove. Number 6, be teachable. Okay. I have been trying to, when I have joined conversations or when I'm talking to a new recruit, and I'm telling them kind of the lowdown of like, this is what it takes to be a Scentsy consultant. This is what it takes to be successful. One of the very first things I'm trying to mention now is to be teachable. Have a growth mindset. Okay. Because this business is ever evolving. We are constantly being fed new information. There's new ways to do things. There's new things coming out. We are changing with the times at a hyper growth rate. Okay. And this year alone has been like wild, and we've had to adapt, and we've had to adjust, and we've had to relearn. We've had to learn new things. Like it's crazy. And for new consultants and old consultants alike, it's important that we don't hang on to this mindset. Can't teach an old dog new tricks, because that doesn't work in this business. You have to be teachable. You have to be constantly feeding your mind and training your mind to learn a new way of doing things, or to be able to apply some stuff to what you're already doing to make it better, to make it fit your life better. It is just necessary. Just like in life, we have to learn new things constantly. We have to learn how to be a parent to a toddler, and then a parent to a preteen, and then a parent to a teen. We're constantly learning things. And there is no one size fits all for this Scentsy business. And that's why you have to constantly find people who are doing it differently and be open to learning new ways, because you just won't be satisfied with a circle hole when you're a square peg, right? And so learn to mold and adapt and to constantly be in the mindset of, is there more that I could do? Is there more that I can learn? How can I teach myself? How can I train myself to learn something new? Do I need to change something in this? Be open to those things. And then teach the next people in line, your downline, your sponsor, or your front line, everybody who comes along, teach them. And it is a teaching thing. Sometimes we have to be taught how to learn stuff, how to have an open mindset. Because I can tell you there are some things that are like, I'm set in my ways, like I'm always going to do this way. Okay. And that works in some parts of our life, but I can tell you in the Scentsy business, there are a lot of people right now who depended on events to make their income for Scentsy. And they were making amazing income off of 2 or 3 months of worth of events. They were providing their whole year's worth of commissions in just those 2 or 3 months. And they banked on that. And then all of a sudden, COVID stripped that all away, and they had to relearn. They had to teach themselves a new way of paying their bills. And that's just the cold hard truth. We have no idea when something like COVID is going to hit, and we have to relearn how to work our business. And so to always be willing to step into this new idea, or to be teachable, or train ourselves on how to do something new, is imperative to the success of your business. 100% is a must have. Okay. So number 5, this goes right along with it. So I probably won't say much about it, but training. Immerse yourself in training. Always be watching, listening. I like the phrase, never be the smartest person in the room. I love that. And it's especially true like at Scentsy events. I love to go into rooms where there are superstar directors and people that I admire. And I love to be around other people who are where I want to be, or who I know have something to offer me, because I know I don't know it all. Like sometimes, okay, I tell my husband I know it all, and sometimes I walk around like I may know it all. Okay. But that's just me being confident about who I am, because I know that, but I don't know everything there is to know about Scentsy. And I feel real confident that I am willing to learn from other people. And so I want to make sure that I am constantly watching training videos when I'm getting ready in the morning. And well, I'm not going to lie to y'all, I don't get ready every morning, but when I get ready, whenever I'm going out somewhere, I'm watching a training video. I'm rewatching a live that one of you have posted. I am constantly trying to fill my mind with new content, even if it's something I never use. Okay. It's still good information, stuff that maybe I'm not going to use, but when I'm having a conversation with a new downline and she's telling me something, I can say, hey, you know what? Actually, I watched this video about this superstar director who did it this way. Maybe you should try that. Maybe that would work for you better. And just always be willing to fill your mind with training. And obviously it goes without saying, the training part is really great, but how you use it is how it impacts your business. You can't just fill your mind with a bunch of training content and just let it sit there and like swim around. It does nothing in there. Okay. So make sure that whatever is usable, make sure that you are using it. Okay. I love this one. This is so important. Number 4, grass is not greener on the other side. Stay on the ride. Please listen to this, okay? Here's the thing. Scentsy has been around for, what is it? Is it the 16th year now? 15th year? 16, 15? I can't see your hand, but one of the two, 15 or 16. I can't remember when they celebrated their anniversary, but they have longevity. Scentsy has been around for a long time. Okay. You want to know who's never gotten off that ride? Heidi and Orville. Never have gotten off that ride. Why? Because they recognized that the grass is not greener on the other side, y'all. Okay. They know, they believe, they trust that what they have is the best. Okay. And that's not to sound cocky. But they know that they have created a platform and an environment that is worth investing in and sticking around in. And I have to tell you, if you can look at Heidi and Orville and say, wow, like they've got something really amazing. I really adore them. I feel like that they're really authentic. I feel like everything they say is really good. And I trust them, right? You trusted them to a certain extent. You invested your money into their business. Okay. Then you have to give them credit to what they have created over 16 years, and that a 16-year company is not going to crumble. So when you look around, yeah, there may be other companies with some longevity, but just because something new and shiny pops up, or this new company gets a makeover, you need to kind of like what we talked about with number 10, you need to know your why and your purpose and why you started here to begin with. Because the reality of it is that there's always going to be something new. Okay. Society as a whole is in love with the idea of what's the new next big thing? What's the new trend? What's the new thing that we can hop on board with for a minute, and then we lose attention? And I don't want to be on a ride that only lasts 5 seconds. I don't want to be in a company that is good for the first couple of years and then it tanks. Okay. I want to be a part of a company that is grounded, that has made mistakes, that have bounced back from it, and that have proven themselves worthy over and over and over again. And so I want you guys to really think about that. And if Scentsy is no big deal to you and it was just kind of a fun little thing that you decided to dip your toes in, and you are not using this as a vessel to move forward with, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So let me just be very clear. I'm talking to the people who have made their mark and said, I want Scentsy to do big, real things for me. Then know that you're in the right spot. That I really do believe that God puts people in places, opens doors, presents opportunities like Scentsy for a reason. And so trusting that, even when your business has a downfall, even when things get hard, even if Scentsy makes a decision you don't agree with, you need to recognize that your investment and your purpose for being here does not all of a sudden fade away just because of a decision here, or a hard time here, or a bad month here. Like, we need to look at all of it as a whole and take note collectively and stay on the ride. Okay. Have you ever tried to like get back onto a moving train or a moving ride or in a moving car or anything that's moving? It's real. Like, have you ever tried to jump on a swing that was like swaying back and forth? That is real difficult. Okay. It's not fun. Because the thing is that Scentsy will keep on trucking along. They love you and they care about you and they want you to succeed, but they're going to keep moving forward. And if you jump off, it's going to be harder to jump back on, because not only does Scentsy keep moving forward, but your customers will find another consultant, and it will be harder to talk them back into trusting you when you jump off. Okay. When you've abandoned ship, it's not that easy to swim back to shore. It's not easy at all, actually. Can it be done? For sure, it can be done. For sure. Okay. And Scentsy has a free reinstatement for a reason, because they want you back. They want you to have your second, third chance at this opportunity, because we recognize that sometimes timing is everything. And I get that. Okay. But staying on, sometimes white knuckling it is what you will have to do. And I just want you to hear, if nothing else, that you are worthy of this opportunity. Okay? Doesn't matter what your story is, doesn't matter what your end goal is, you are worthy of this opportunity. So don't let it go. Like, let it be the most precious thing that you white knuckle and hold on to, no matter what falls apart in your life. Let this be the thing that you hold on to. Okay. So number 3, I told you I was going to truck right through these, you guys. I feel pretty good about this timeline. Show up. Show up every day. Whatever your routine is, whatever you figure out is your balance in your life, if Scentsy is part of your end goal, you have to show up every day. Okay. Now that's going to look different for all of us. I didn't put down here any time. I didn't say you have to show up for 3 hours every day. I didn't say you have to show up for 15 minutes. You have to show up, and you have to be accountable to that. Nobody else here can do that. Nobody is taking note of how much work you put into your business. That's reflected in your commissions at the end of each month. You can see how much time you've invested into your business. It's a direct correlation. Okay. And nobody's grading that paper for you, but you have to show up at all. Okay. My parents used to always tell me a C in class is you pretty much just showed up. That's the effort that it is. And I feel like most of the time that was true. If I got a C in class, I wasn't putting in effort. The only effort I exerted was actually just being there, because you can get a C just by sitting there. Okay. So if your check is mediocre, not where you want it, it's less than whatever, and you're motivated by that, are you showing up enough? Okay. Maybe your 15 minutes, I can do this in 15 minutes, isn't true. Maybe to get where you want to go, you need to show up for an hour every day. Maybe you need to sacrifice some time at night and show up for longer. Maybe you need to sacrifice a Saturday. Like, you have to show up, and only you can determine what that looks like. And like I said, a direct correlation of that will be reflected in your commissions, because nobody is giving you an A for effort as far as commissions go. Okay. Me and Alex love when you guys show up on team pages, and we see you showing up in your business day to day on your team pages or on your VIP groups or on your Instagrams. Like, we love that, and we'll clap every time for you. But is that reflected in your commissions? Is that reflected in your check? Is that what's driving you? If it's not, that's okay. Okay. I want to make that very clear, because everybody has different goals. But majority of people I talk to are motivated by money. And when we jump ship, typically it's for money. And so recognize that if you're not showing up here and you jump ship to go chase money somewhere else, if you don't change your habits and you don't change how you're showing up, you're going to make the same or less, because commission, our compensation plan is pretty much the best, but it's going to be less on the other side. Showing up is what matters, and doing the work, obviously. But you have to show up. It really is not just enough to just be a Scentsy consultant. Okay. You have to show up in your business. And when I say show up, I don't mean just appear. Okay. Just appear like you're doing something. Just pop your head up once in a while on the team pages. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about showing up and actually doing something in your business. Because when I think of show up, I think of people who walk into a room and make an impact, and you feel it. Okay. And so for you to show up in your business would mean for you to make an impact. When I walk into my office every day, I don't just want to come up. Literally, there have been days where I've come in my office and laid on my floor and like texted or whatever. I did nothing in my office. Just because I stepped through these doors does not mean I did anything productive in my office. I simply was just here. But when I show up and I'm ready, I walk in this door and I get samples done. I'm following up. I'm scheduling posts. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm showing up in my business to where it makes a mark. And I will see that reflected in my commissions. There is a direct correlation. Okay. So again, I'm not talking about just showing up on social media, making a post, doing this, doing that. How are you making an impact on your business that will be reflective in what motivates you, whether that's commissions, whatever. Okay. So show up. Number 2. I like this one because it's going to happen to all of us. Okay. And it sucks when it happens. But this is one of these things that we have to learn. I'm going to ask you to be okay and willing to fall short of your goals, of what you want in the short term, obviously, because our end goal is to get what we want, right? To meet those dreams. So eventually we do want to get there. But just like being told no, we're going to fall short. Okay. And it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. Okay. To fall short of that promotion goal, to fall short of your PRV goal, to fall short of the amount of people you wanted to sponsor this month, to fall short of this incentive. Okay. Those are, I know those are big things for some of you. Like doing this incentive, you guys came in with big dreams and you wanted to reach level 2, 3, 4, 5. And some of you are sitting looking at your incentive going, man, I wish I was further than this. And I'm not grading papers right now, so I'm not speaking to anybody or in general. But sometimes we have to recognize we're doing something that's totally new, and it's difficult for some people. We're learning new things, and in that we have to fail. We have to step back and take those hard lessons and fall short so that we know what it feels like to pick ourselves back up and move forward and figure out a new way, take a new path, retrain our brain, learn some new content. There has to be milestones in our journey where we do that, because we don't appreciate mountaintops without the valleys. Like you don't stand at the top of a mountaintop screaming how wonderful it is and tears falling down your face if you haven't felt what it feels like to be at the bottom on your knees, like totally broken by what put you there. And a lot of us have that story in our life, right? Maybe it has nothing to do with Scentsy, but all of you can think of a time where you sat in frustration or anger or sadness and you were at the bottom of the bottom, and it hurts and it's painful. But at some point, one day, one moment, you said, okay, I'm done. Like I got to get up. I've got to pull myself up. I've got to do something different. My journey has to look different from here. So I'm getting up and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make a change so that I'm not here anymore. I don't like this space. Every single one of you have had to do that. I've had to do that. And then we start to climb and climb and climb, and it hurts and it's painful. And we have some really amazing, like, come to Jesus moments, and we meet people along the way who inspire us, and we keep climbing, climbing, climbing. And by the time we get to that mountaintop, we look down and see that valley, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like looking down at your valley after you've reached that mountaintop and knowing that you're still okay, that you did everything you had to do to get there. And you did it, maybe not on your own, but you did it. And you were okay with getting yourself back up and making it to that mountaintop. Nobody wants to be okay with failure. Nobody wants to be willing to fail. But it's an important teaching moment in our lives to be able to have some self-reflection, to be able to be accountable to ourselves, and to have enough objectivity to look at the situation and say, wow, maybe I didn't do that right. Maybe that just wasn't good timing. Maybe I didn't treat this person the way I should have, or maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe that person just was not meant to be on my team. Maybe Scentsy was just not the answer for her. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It hurts. I'm going to struggle here for a minute, and then I'm going to make my trek back up to my mountaintop where I can celebrate. The key in all of that, okay, is not to stay in your valley. The key is to not stay down here. Just like not getting off the ride, don't give up on yourself when you're in the valley. Everything is dark when you're in the dark, obviously, right? It's dark. Everything looks gloomy and horrible in the dark. We don't like to see things in the dark, but for some reason we can get stuck there. We can get trapped in that. We can get trapped in, my Scentsy business just isn't working because this person told me no, and this person doesn't want to be on Scentsy anymore, and my check's not good enough. And we can get so wrapped up in this mindset of, my gosh, like, somebody turn on the lights, and you forget, wait a second, I can turn on my own dang lights. Like, I can get up, I can go over there, I can turn on the lights, and what the light tells you that the dark doesn't is that there's always something else. There are things that are hidden in the dark that you don't see until the light is on. And so what you are focusing on in the dark are those dark, gloomy things, like the person who doesn't want to be on Scentsy anymore, the customer who treated you badly, the person who told you no. And what you fail to see, except when the lights are on, is that you have a whole community of Scentsy sisters who love you and care about you. You have a team that wants you here. You have a supportive circle. Okay, Scentsy wants you here, that you have 100 other customers who love you and celebrate you. You have a pop-in VIP. You have people who depend on you to be their Scentsy person. All of that gets hidden in the dark, and it becomes not what we focus on. And I want you guys to really, really recognize that, first of all, you are the person who can turn on the lights, and you can illuminate all of the amazing things that are going on. Okay, so do not give up when you're in the dark. Do not give up in your valley. Just turn on the lights and then make your trek up. Okay, that is what is required of you in those moments. And it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, it's going to suck. I get it. Okay, life is that way. But don't give up on Scentsy. What do they say? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't do that with Scentsy. Okay, we don't want to do that. It's not worth that. You are worth all of this and more. One bad moment or one bad day or month is not worth that. Okay, so don't give up, and be okay to be in the valley, to have those moments, but then get up, turn on the lights, and keep trekking. All right, I bet you all know what my number one tip for success is. I bet you guys can guess it, but I'm not going to give you enough time to. So think about it in your head. Just kidding. My number one tip for success is always going to be consistent. Be consistent. That is, I mean, I don't want to say that's the key to success. Like that is the tip. That is the ultimate tip, right? Because like we can be consistent at the wrong things. I firmly believe that. Like you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and it's getting you nowhere, and you just keep doing it just because. Like that's also called insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That is the definition of insanity. So being consistent requires you to, again, have objectivity, to be able to look at the situation, recognize what is working, throw away what doesn't, or adjust it, add something new, mess with it. Okay. Recognize what's not working, fix it, throw it away, add something new to what is working, and be consistent with it. Be consistent. Be consistent in your showing up. Okay. It's not enough for you to show up, make an impact on your business for 3 days, and then ghost for the next month. That's not being consistent. Consistency is doing the stuff consistently, time after time. We can count on you like clockwork. Okay. I know that from, 8 a.m. to about 3 p.m., I know that Alex is being consistent in her business. I know what she's doing, not just because I talk to her every day, but I know she's working her business Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. I can count. I would bet on it. She's working her business. Why? Because she has consistently done that forever. Okay. For a very long time, she has done that. What are you being consistent at? I don't think that it's necessary that you are consistent at all the things. Okay. If you are only posting in your VIP once a day or whatever, but you are super consistent with checking in with your customers on a weekly basis, that matters. That is something real good to be consistent at. Okay. If you only post on Instagram or your business page once a week, but you are real consistent on booking parties every single week or every single month, you have parties lined up, that's good. Okay. Being consistent at what matters is more important than being consistent at the little things. Okay. And again, it goes back to it's not worth it to be consistent at the wrong things. And none of that is the wrong thing, right? But we need to recognize in this business what is the important things that we need for our business to run successfully. And it may look different for all of us. To me, posting in my VIP and on my Instagram and following up with my customers, however I see fit that week, I do it on a weekly basis, but posting on my social media honestly is what I am so consistent at because it is income producing for me, because it is what drives my business and makes it successful. 100%. That is the business that I have built. Those are what my customers expect. And you can bet I have never missed a day to post in my VIP. Never once, not ever. Okay. I'm consistent at it. You can count on it. That's what makes my business run smoothly. That's what makes my PRV high. What are you doing in your business? And if you're struggling to think of like, oh my gosh, what do I need to be consistent at? I don't know. Look back at your months. Maybe it's this month, maybe it's last month, maybe it's 6 months ago. Look back at the month where you had a rockin' PRV month, where you sponsored really well, where you booked the most parties. Look back at those months and ask yourself, maybe you have it written down. Maybe you have a calendar that says, oh my gosh, Jenny had a party, so-and-so had a party. What was I doing in that month that got me that result? You don't have to look any further than your best month, your best week, your best time frame. It takes more than just being consistent for a week for some of these things to show themselves in your business. So, I think personally, if you're going to choose something to be consistent at, before you make a judgment call about whether it's actually working in your business, you need to give it about 60 days. I would say about 2 months of doing something consistently to figure out, is it working for my business or is it not? So if you're thinking, okay, I want to start posting in my VIP and I want to see what kind of success that brings, and I'm going to do it every single day and I'm going to commit to 3 posts a day. Okay, then I'm going to tell you to do that every single day for the next 60 days. For the next 2 months, every single day, do that. And then evaluate. Did it help my business? Where was my PRV? How did I do? What is my customer interaction like now? You have to be consistent in whatever you are choosing to do. If you want to sponsor people, then you need to be consistently having joint conversations, 10, 15 a week. Okay, because you're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get a lot of being left on red. You're going to get a lot of being ignored. So you have to do a lot of them. Okay, plain and simple. Booking parties, same thing. You're going to have to ask a lot of people. So your numbers have to be high for that. But don't let that scare you. Don't say, well, that's too much for me. I don't think I can do that. You can do that. You can do that. Because like I talked about, the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get with doing it. And the more often you do it, the more consistent you get. And the more consistent you are, the better your results. Plain and simple. The thing is that the things that make up our business, like PRV, and which PRV entails good customer service. So whether that's social media, that's following up, whatever that looks like for you, PRV, sponsoring, and coaching, those 3 legs of success do require you to step into realms where you will be real uncomfortable in a lot of different situations. Okay. You're asking people to book parties, you're asking people to join your team, all this stuff. Okay. So don't think you can opt out of one of these or opt out of what it takes because the numbers are high or because you're going to have to do it consistently. Like you just have to do it. Like it's time to get uncomfortable now. It's time to start being consistent now. It can be day one. Tomorrow can be day one. Focus in on that area. Really hone in on what's your weak spot. And you know what's really cool, you guys? Incentives, like the one that we're in, does a really good job at highlighting our weak spots. And it hurts and it sucks and we don't like it and it's not fun. And every time you pull up your incentive tracker, the numbers that you look at that are off, that you cringe at, that is your weak spot. Okay, that is where you are struggling. Whether you want to admit it or not, hear me, that is where you are struggling. So what you should be working on is that. What you need to be getting consistent with is that. Okay. And the great thing is that 60 days, dang, isn't that cool? Takes you right into the end of our incentive. So imagine what 60 days of consistency in that weak area will do for your incentive. It could change the game. It could be the difference between level 1 and level 2. It could be the difference between level 1 and level 3. Like you could move mountains in 60 days within this incentive period if you get consistent now. And that's the awesome thing too about consistency is you can start at any time. You can be like, Brianna, this is so good. I cannot wait to start next month. Fine. Okay. Do whatever you want in the next 4 days. That's fine. But the sooner that you get consistent, your day one, you get further and further away from your day one, which means you get closer and closer to the end result of why you wanted to be consistent in the first place, right? So, I mean, I'm going to tell you, do it now, do it tomorrow, make a plan, get with your sponsor, get with your director, get on a coaching call. But do it. Okay. Whenever you choose to, just do it. And then be consistent in your business. Be that person who is dependable, that we can count on like clockwork. We know she's going to do this. We know she's doing this. We know she's going to sponsor 3 people this month. Like we just know, we're just expecting it. Okay. Be that person. And it will change. Okay. Consistency, what we're doing in our business will change. That's part of having the growth mindset, blah, blah, blah. But be consistent in the things that are making a positive impact on your business. Okay. So those are my personal 10 tips for success. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to hop off of the recording, but we can stick around if you have any questions.